do some brainstorming, do design discussions, and then get back to their work again. We also need to make sure that we are reducing distractions, making the space pleasant where team members feel comfortable talking with each other. The next aspect that we need to consider while we are rolling out Agile is the tools that we are going to use. And there would be several tools that will get added once we start following Agile. We need, the team members might want to have automated build mechanism. The team would like to have a continuous integration mechanism where whatever code changes are being developed, the continuous integration environment will pick up those changes, will create a build, will deploy those builds, and will execute some kind of testing on that. We also need to identify what tool are we going to use for project management, for task management. And of course, if you have remote teams, then having a team which will support online collaboration is more effective than having a physical task board. You'll also have to think about, are we going to do automation testing? Are we going to do acceptance testing in automated manner? If yes, then what is our programming language and what kind of automated testing tools are we going to use? We'll also have to see how are we going to do configuration management. And we'll also have to think about how are we going to do our static code analysis, dynamic code analysis, code quality evaluation. And this is actually going to impact the quality improvement that you would expect out of Agile environment. So if you are expecting Agile to improve your delivery timelines, to improve your quality, then you'll also have to make sure that all these tools are in place and they are used in the most effective manner. The next part is about Agile modeling. And this is again slightly different than the way we conventionally do the modeling or design, where what we try to do is we have a full requirement specifications with us. And when we do a design, we do a low-level design and high-level design, and we try to go as deep as possible and figure out each and every aspect of it. Now, the flip side of that is if your implementation changes, then your design also changes. But your design documentations may or may not change. You might not go back and reflect the changes in your design docs, so they might become stale. Instead of that, what Agile says, and it's very much in line with the Agile manifesto, how much documentation should we do? How much design should we do? The answer is just barely good enough. The amount of design that is required for a set of requirements that you are working on, we should do that. Agile never says that you should not do design, but do whatever is good enough. And then, of course, we can apply a lot of effective ways for the Agile environment, which is test-driven development, then architecture envisioning. Then keep on doing documentation continuously. As and when some of the new functionality pieces are developed, create documentation only for those smaller modules. Then try to get stakeholder participation. Make sure you have a couple of models. So what you would typically might want to do is create a couple of architectures or a couple of design approaches. And then you can identify one of the approaches and go and start implementing that. You might also have to do some kind of rework in the process. But since you are actually trying to do inspect and adapt, you would have already learned few things and then you are trying to follow it. So that would work well with the Agile environment. So you also need to ensure that your designing, your estimation is also in the Agile manner. Your planning is also in the Agile manner. The next part is Agile metrics. And when you roll out to an Agile environment, you will have to identify which of these matrices are you going to use to check are you on track or not. So one of the Agile metrics is velocity, which reflects how much work is getting done per iteration, how much story points are getting developed per sprint if you are using Scrum model. We can have a story point based burn down, which will tell us are we on track or not. We can have a task or hourly burn down, which again can tell us are we going to complete all the tasks that we have signed up for a particular iteration. We can also have story point based matrices. So if you still want to do earned value management in Agile, you can do that, but based on the story points. You can definitely have your test case point based matrices or any of the ways you're currently doing your QA matrices. The unit of measurement would be in story points or Agile estimation base. That would be a difference, but other principles definitely remain same. You can also use lead time or cycle time which would tell us how much time are we going to take to deliver between two successive user stories. That will also give you some inputs on how